Hello and welcome to another video on the YuGiOh channel, and today I am excited to be bringing you my ABC Dragon Buster deck profile for the new format, Master Rule 5, and tons of amazing support came out for this deck in Eternity Code. So let's dive into this. We've got a deck profile to kick off with, and then after that we'll have a look at some of the combos that this deck involves. Now this is a very sort of low monster count deck, and it is designed for going first, not for going second, because of how the combos function given the new support. So we kick things off with 2 A Assault Core, 3 B Buster Drake, and 2 C Crush Wyvern. You don't need any more than this because we're not going for a grind game, we're going for a blowout first turn board, which then enables the grind game because we're going to get to Buster really early on. And then opponents will just struggle to deal with the fact that we're constantly generating advantage and they're constantly losing it. So you only need these guys, you don't need 3 of A or C. It's absolutely fine just with these ratios. And then we have tons of mostly one-offs that enable you to go into all of your combos. So Union Driver is a really important one. Let's take a quick look at this. So once per turn you can either target one face-up monster you control, equip this card to that target, or unequip this card and special summon it, which is like all of the Union support that we've seen so far. If the equipped monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, destroy this card instead. Again, very similar to all of the ABC pieces that we've seen previously. And then, while this card is equipped to a monster, you can banish this equipped card and equip one level 4 or lower appropriate Union monster from your deck to that monster that this card was equipped to. You can only use this effect of Union Driver once per turn. It is level 5, which makes it a little bit awkward, but apart from that, this effect is really insane because it means that you don't have to deal with that restriction of never being able to special summon your Bs, Cs, and As. You just equip this to something, banish it, get one of your pieces equipped, and then you can special summon them, and that's how loads of the combos work. So Union Driver is really important. I'm only running 1 in this build because the idea is once you resolve your first combo, you have all of your pieces set up for your ABC searches anyway, so you should be absolutely fine with the 1 going through. However, if you wanted to tweak it to run 2, I think it's definitely an option that is out there. Then we have 1 Torque Tune Gear. This is for the Union Hanger combo, which I'll show you towards the end of the video. 1 O-Lion for the generic synchro combos. 1 Jet Synchron. This is also really important for a lot of the combos. It is essentially a starter card, but it's not a starter card that gives you your full engine, unless you have an extender to go alongside it. But if you do just run the normal combo, you do actually need Jet Synchron as the discard outlet for a bunch of these plays. Then there's a Quick Draw Synchron because we're playing the Tuning Engine, and a DD Lamia as Dark Contract allows you to have a 1 card play into the engine, which I'll show that combo as well. So you got the 6 combo pieces essentially, and then on top of that we've got some special summon tuners, so double Cock-a-doodle-doo, 1 Rocket Tracer and 1 Rocket Synchron. You'll generally go for the Rocket Synchron off your quick launch, but sometimes you just want the Rocket Tracer as an additional option to be in there. And you can start playing some rank 4s in this build. I'm not actually playing them in this particular build, but with Rocket Tracer being a tuner and a level 4, it does give you that additional access there. So that's it for the monster lineup. Not a heavy monster lineup and no hand traps within this build. Hand traps have been way too underwhelming in the current format. It's much better to build a deck that is strong at going first and then just supply it with some additional options for going second. So obviously we've got to play triple Union Hanger and 1 Terraforming to accompany that. And then alongside that we have a new card, which is Unauthorized Reactivation. So this came out in the Machina structure deck, and it allows you to target 1 machine monster you control, equip 1 appropriate machine Union monster from your hand or deck to that monster, but the Union monster you equipped cannot be special summoned this turn. Really not a problem because you can use this to equip the Union Driver to your monster, and then use the Union Driver effect to equip the other monster, and then that one can be special summoned. So this essentially acts like another copy of Union Hanger, provided you have a piece in hand. So this gives you like a +1 on top of this, and this just gives you access to your combos, which is really nice, especially with the Torque Tune Gear in the deck. Then a bunch of one-offs, so Upstart Goblin because I'm not playing a 40 card deck, Foolish Burial, Monster Reborn, and the extender that nobody seems to be playing at the moment is Reasoning. I don't get why nobody's really playing it very much in the competitive scene, because there are so few decks where you have the same level throughout. Even in this deck, a lot of it is not level 4, so you can get away with running a Reasoning in here. Which is a really nice touch, especially given that you can, if people do call level 4 and it does hit one of your ABC pieces, it's essentially like playing Foolish Burial. So that's really nice there as well. So that's the sort of like main spell lineup. Then to go with the extenders, we've got triple Dark Contract with the Gate, which gets you your Lamia and the full combo. Triple Tuning, which gets you either the Quick Draw or the Jet Synchron, depending on how your hand is looking. Triple Quick Launch, which gets you one of your tuners. And then to round things off, triple Dark Ruler No More. The idea being that, as I said before, hand traps are not very impactful in this format, whereas Dark Rule No More still does allow you to break through a lot of the boards that are out there, because if people don't put the Buster in their main deck, then you can use this to break pretty much any board that exists at the moment, and then after you do that, you have 5 cards to play with, and to be honest, with this deck, you only need 1 before you start being able to break apart the opponent's board. So onto the extra deck, we'll start off with the Link monsters. So we have Link Karibo, which is necessary for the combos, as is Link Cross. 2 Hauke Fibrax. The deck plays tons of tuners, and this is essentially how you build up resources for your first turn combo, but also in your turn 2 or turn 3 grind game. This just gets you more Link access, which is really important for this deck. Then 1 Union Carrier, obviously going to be really important in the combos for this deck, and it is actually designed for this deck, so that's always nice. IP Masquerader is obviously for the first turn boards, and then Phoenix and Unicorn are 2 of your key ways to out the opponent's resources. Phoenix is a little bit iffy at the moment because it's not super strong against things like Eldritch, so you could potentially swap this out for something else. I'll leave that up to you guys and whatever your meta is. And then we have 1 Appaloosa for the Link 4 plays, and the same for Zeraboros. I've gone with Zeraboros over like a Trisbana or something else, because I think it's significantly more impactful, and it's just like, it's more generic, so this can break like any opponent's setup, which is really nice. It's also pretty good against the like Eldritch matchup, where you put all of your resources into the graveyard in order to make this Link summon. You do this, you commit, you break their board, and then during your turn you have Buster access again, so that's really, really cool. And that is it for the Link monsters. We play 3 Synchro monsters in this build, being the Martial Metal Marcher, not really a surprise with this one. 1 Herald of the Arclight, which you can make with the Hanger combo to give you a little bit of negation, which is generally pretty nice, but it's not insane. You can always just link off with this if you have to. And then 1 Shooting Riser Dragon. I really like this one. It allows you to build up a lot of your combos by putting stuff into the graveyard. And when you put one of your pieces into the grave, this becomes level 3 anyway, which means you can then synchro with this and a Link Cross token to make the Herald. So it's a really nice interaction. It's a shame there's not actually space in this deck to play more stuff for synchro summoning during your opponent's turn, but otherwise very, very nice to have that little bit of interaction there. Shame we can't send Snow anymore as well, that's the other thing. And for the last 2 cards in the extra deck, we have 1 ABC Dragon Buster, of course limited, so now I can only play the single copy, and 1 Digusto Emerald, so that you can recycle your ABC Dragon Buster after it gets used and get back all of your combo pieces, because there are so many cards in the extra deck which you're only going to be using once throughout these combos, so it's important to have some way to recycle all of those, and Emerald is kind of the most generic, most accessible way to do that, because this deck does have great rank 4 access. So without further ado, let's get on to the combos and show you guys how you can take 1 card and turn it into an impressive board that includes ABC Dragon Buster. So from just this single Union Carrier, we're going to end up on a really impressive board. So kick things off by activating the Union Hanger and search yourself a copy of the Buster Drake, and then normal summon it and use the Hanger to equip to it a Union Driver, which is obviously the crux of like this whole deck at this point. Union Driver's effect, banish itself, and that will equip the Torque Tune gear, which can then use its effect to special summon itself. And look, we've got a tuner and another monster, so we have instant Needle Fiber access. So these 2 make your Hauke Fibrax, and then you can stack the chain links as you like, prioritize whatever you want. I'm going to go with Fiber as chain link 1 and Drake as chain link 2, so search the A Assault Core to the hand and special summon O-Lion here. And then, as per usual with all of the combos that use Fibrax at the moment, we're going to turn this into a Link Cross and get ourselves a couple of Link Cross tokens, which obviously cannot be used for a Link Summon, but are level 1, which is pretty nice because it means we have a cool interaction with O-Lion here, turning this token and the O-Lion into a Marcher. The Marcher can then resurrect, and instead of going for the O-Lion, we're actually going to bring back the Talk Tune gear here, and this is pretty important because this is going to allow us to make a Link Summon into a Union Driver, and bringing that back we also get the O-Lion effect, which will give us just a level 3 Mecha Phantom Beast token, which can be used for a Link Summon, which is really important for the rest of the combo. So these two turn into our Union Carrier, and the Union Carrier can then equip to the Marcher RC. I'm just going to put it in the same column to show you guys, but you can put it in any column, and ultimately you shouldn't really put it in the same column anyway, just in case it's problematic. We're then going to synchro with this and the last Link Cross token, so that will make a synchro 4, and we'll summon out the Herald. Keep in mind this is actually really nice because up until this point we haven't put anything oppressive onto the field, and after equipping the Marcher with C, your opponent can't really nibber you without the risk of you summoning out the A anyway and making the Buster, so they don't really want to fire it off too soon, and because your board's just not impressive enough, they can play it a little bit earlier, which is probably correct. But let's just digress with this one. So we synchro summon at the Herald and then use the C effect to summon out the A Assault Core. We're not going to be using the A's effect, but we can then link with the A Assault Core and this token, because it is a Mecha Phantom Beast token, into our IP Masquerena, which just requires 2 non-link monsters, and we couldn't use the Link Cross tokens for that unfortunately, but not an issue. So now we have Carrier IP and Herald, and then we can banish A, B and C in order to summon out our ABC Dragon Buster, which I normally put in defense. You put it wherever you want really. Just put it in defense as some slight play around Lightning Storm, which would obviously only take away these two. But then during the opponent's turn you have such an oppressive board. You know, you still got 4 cards in hand because we've only used the Union Hanger from this. We can use IP and Dragon Buster on the same chain because we have 3 spaces here. So then we can summon out all 3 of these and then go for our Link Summon. If you do go for a Link Summon here, I recommend using the Union Carrier, and then potentially like the B and the A. This will get you more resources available that can make like an Appaloosa or something, and it means that you can still trigger your Union Hanger to equip something from deck to the C, which is really important actually because it means you maximize the amount of resources you have. But yeah, that's the Union Hanger combo, which I'll just reset the board. Gives you an end board of this, which is really, really nice. So for the next combo, you just need any way to access Needle Fiber without using your Jet Synchron discard. That's why we only play 1 copy of that in the deck. So one of the ways you can do that is with Dark Contract with the Gate, which can also be an extender if you already have one of your ABC pieces anyway. So activate this and then search out the Lamia, normal summon the Lamia, and then turn that into the Linkuriboh. And then you can revive the Lamia by getting rid of this Dark Contract, and there is your Halqifibrax, or your Needle Fiber. So this can then summon from the deck. We're going to go for Jet Synchron this time. We're not going for the O-Lion because the combo requires you to discard off this Jet Synchron. And then we're going to turn the Halqifibrax into a Link Cross and get ourselves a couple of tokens, which we won't immediately synchro summon with anyway, so they're going to go straight back into the extra deck, and we'll lose this Jet Synchron, but we'll get out a Marcher. The Marcher can revive the Jet, and then you turn this Jet into a Linkuriboh, so it doesn't matter whether your initial play into the Halqifibrax required a Linkuriboh or not. Regardless, you can still use the effect of this tribute off the Jet Synchron. And now we have 2 Cyburst monsters, which means we can access the Union Carrier. So Union Carrier is going to use its effect to equip to itself the Union Driver. We do actually have to go to itself because we need a light machine here, because when we use Union Driver's effect banishing itself, we're going to equip an appropriate monster, which will be the B Buster Drake. So this can only go onto a light machine monster that you control. So in order for it to be appropriate, we do have to control this Union carrier here. So that equips that. And then because Union Driver doesn't restrict you from special summons, we can then special summon this B Buster Drake. And now we have an amazing board here, basically, because this Marcher can go with this Buster Drake into a shooting Riser Dragon. Riser Dragon and B will trigger on the same chain, so you can pick the order. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add this A to hand and then put this C in the graveyard. So this is now level 3 monster, but not really much of an issue. We're then going to send the A from hand to graveyard in order to revive that Jet Synchron, which means we now have all 3 pieces of Buster in the graveyard. And before we get there, we're just going to turn these 2 into our IP Masquerena and then banish A, B, and C in order to summon out the ABC Dragon Buster, which we're going to put in defense here. So just off any access to the Fibrax, you can end up on this board, which is really crazy. It's so good that we have access to the Union Driver in order to enable all of these combos. But yeah, just off one card, you can end on this board. So that's it for this ABC deck profile. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to be doing some test hands with this deck in the future. So hope you guys look forward to that, and I'll see you all in the next video.